Criminals of Reddit, what is your plan when you break into a house and see a naked man running straight towards you? Call the cops on him for making me feel offended. How many times are you going to post this exact same question? Thanks for sorting by new. The previous post was removed because he included the pronoun my. This is his second attempt. Yep. That's it. Strip my clothes and fight him. Run right towards him. The large hard-on collider. Get naked and run toward him. Now we're playing gay chicken. If he flinches, I win. If he doesn't, we'll go on a few dates. Move in together. Eventually get a starter home in the suburbs. Adopt a few dogs. And live happily ever after. I'd start a fire. Get naked as well. Assert dominance. I have so many questions. Why am I breaking in? Did he take something from me? Is he holding a friend hostage? Does he owe me money? I'm a lesbian, so a naked dick running towards me is a bigger deterrent than a gun. And why is he naked? Is this at night? Is he a nudist? I'm so confused as to why this would be happening to me. It sounds like the beginning of movie that starts with a buck-ass naked dude running toward the camera. Then freeze frame. Internal dialogue. You might be wondering how I ended up here. I'd go see that movie. My dad used to wake up around 3 a.m. to go to work. One morning he looked out the window and saw a little penlight and some asshole trying to break into the back door to our garage. There was another side door at the house where he watched the guy for 5 minutes in bewilderment before pounding on the glass and then ripping the door open and chasing the guy down the street in nothing but his underwear. Apparently the guy had quite the look on his face. To this day I sleep naked and keep a hatchet at my bedside. If I ever get broken into, I hope the sight of a crazed-looking muscular guy, ass naked, carrying a mini axe is at least a little frightening. According to my dad, who this has happened to, the criminal will begin to try and stab your naked body. I sleepwalk and I woke up in someone else's condo one time. A naked guy came out screaming in the morning and I immediately matched his intensity, declaring it was my condo, not his. It looked similar, but all the furniture was wrong, so I conceded. I picked up the pizza I had brought from home and left. This question assumes that wasn't my intended goal. When in Rome, must now begin. Then I behold, for I can see, in his anus. What are the odds of there being two naked criminals breaking into the same house at the same time? Sigh and unzip. Wait until the last moment and kick my foot up to meet his family jewels. My momentum plus his momentum equals down for the count. Then grab the TV on my way out. This reminds me of the time my uncle woke up in the middle of the night to hearing a stranger breaking into his wife's car. He shot straight out of bed, butt naked, and sprinted out the door with a baseball bat in one hand and fist on the other. He ended up hitting and scaring the guy away. However, I find it hilarious that he has to show the home security footage to the police of him running out the door naked to beat up the guy. Sir, somebody in the records division seems to have sold the video to Pornhub. Stop running towards the mirror. Celtic warfare intensifies. The only thing a man can do in that situation, strip down naked and sword fight to the death. What an honorable way to die. Strip down as well. Try to seduce him. If I fail, I kill him and act like he tried to keep me hostage. If it works, I take his stuff when he falls asleep. If it works but he won't let me go, I'll have his kids be annoying as hell so he doesn't want to be with me and collect child support. Snap his dick with a towel. If you even see a clothed man running towards you, you're busted. It's fight or flight time now, buddy. If a criminal enters a house while the occupants are home, it is generally one of two situations. Either they made a big mistake and want to get out, or they are there to hurt, kill you. Yes. I know home invasions are a thing and there are scary people out there, but generally people would rather not confront someone. My father is a slightly mad South African man and he enjoys knives. He has always collected beautiful knives and has a few swords too. So imagine the horror on the poor robbers' faces when they were disturbed halfway through ransacking our house when I was small. By 6'5", 20 stone naked bearded man with a sword. They dropped the shit and ran away. Fast. Start masturbating. Two can play at this game. Poison Ivy full bodysuit. Who's the idiot now? Dad? Get out the building. Because there must be a fire. Laying in bed one night when my wife and I were woken up by our dog, approximately 60 pounds lab pit mix, growling at something. Usually he would do it and move on when we shush him, but this night he was more insistent. At the time it was just us. No kids, so we slept in the buff. I am not buff. Quite the opposite, overweight and average in every way, height and length dimensions. My wife insists that maybe we should check it out, so we go out the bedroom. I, without any weapons or anything, think, what the f is my naked ass going to do if there is someone out there? Run at them? I steel myself. Resolved to that is exactly what I am going to do. Charge them, screaming while my wife calls 911. We go out to the living room, nothing there, the door is still locked and no signs of entry. The dog starts losing his shit again around the office. We track it down to the airlock on the beer I just brewed was a little clogged, and so it was hissing past the airlock cork. So hooked up a blow-off tube. Still naked. Before going back to bed. The old dick twist. Patches O'Houlihan said it best. Aim low. A story. My dad sleeps in the buff. Always has. A fake. My sister, Teresa, was about 18 at the time. Still living at home, as I had yet to grace the earth with my presence and overfill our house. This was about the time she met her future ex-husband, John. Teresa was out late one night with John. They had come back to the house, and her plan was to sneak both of them in through the back door, which led off of the landing down to the basement where her room was. My dad heard the back door open. As the man of the house, with 3 daughters and a pregnant wife to protect, he knew he had to act. He rolled his hairy ass out of his waterbed, came streaking down the hall, through the living room, round into the kitchen, where he saw a man standing on the landing. His weapon of choice? My mother's cast iron skillet. In mere seconds of entering the house, John was pinned up against a wall by a naked ogre threatening to bash his brains in with cast iron cookware. I'm not sure how this story ends, but I like to imagine that John pissed himself before my dad realized that this intruder had consent to blacken his daughter's virtue. This was about the time she met her future ex-husband. I'm a sucker for happy endings. That would be disappointing. The whole reason I broke into the house is so that I could give the guy a wedgie. Nice try, officer. I'd think that it was just a mirror. Lunge at him. I want your shit. I don't want to hurt anyone. When I used to be a terrible person, my main goal was to wait until the house was empty. Better chance to get away with it if you aren't seen. That said, if you're going to attack a large human with no weapon and no clothes, you are more than likely gonna have a bad time regardless. It happened to me. In Pretty Old, and having an old naked lady standing there was too much for them. They left. Not sure. Wasn't thinking about getting paid and laid. Not a criminal, but the best defense against someone whose presence is unwanted is to gather all of your fellow people and strip completely naked. Then proceed to cover yourselves with flour and pig's blood. Use ketchup if you can't, cause of religion, etc., and to place whole raw chickens on each hand. Stand in a circle and slowly clap the chickens together. If the unwanted presence enters and does not leave but engages instead, turn towards him and increase the rate at which you are clapping. If they have still not faltered, proceed to chase him down and destroy him with all your fury and/or salmonella. I'm already naked too, of course, so I guess we have a dick sword fight? I always break into a house with a nice knife. If I see a naked man charging me, I'm going to try and practice my circumcision technique. Get naked and run towards him. Eye for an eye. Bring your chin down to protect your neck while continuing to stare into his eyes. Bring up your hands and say, I don't want no trouble. Flex your traps and core while slightly bending your knees. Here comes the important part. In a low voice begin to say Wololo, slowly increasing in volume. He should be surprised by now. Begin to sway side to side and loosen all facial muscles and your anal sphincter and your Kegel muscle. By now you should be pretty loud and your opponent will have stepped back and will appear visibly shaken. Begin to piss and shit yourself and let your eyes roll into the back of your head. By now you are chanting WOLO WOLO at the top of your lungs. He will run away. Everyone within a 1-mile radius will feel a terrifying presence within their soul. Marvel as you ascend into your planar form. Everyone hath a plan until they get punted in the mouth. Mike Tython. Boner or no boner? It's out and it's veering left and right like the rudder that steers a ship. As he charges, eyes wide with fear or shock or excitement or purpose, you imagine hoof beats and a knight in armor raising a jousting lance to unseat you from your horse. His lance is shorter than most, but wielded with the same intent. An air that says this shall ram into you at great speed and send you backwards. Your only hope is that you might unseat me first. 20 feet between you becomes 10, and then finally 5. Brace for impact. Use the dildo I brought to good use. A follow-up on the people who sleep naked question. Next up, a question about what firemen do when they find a naked person in a burning house. Point and laugh at his pee-pee. It will demoralize him and he will shoot himself. Free loot, no death on your conscience. Win-win. Have sex. Don't be a pussy. Let me undress first. Depends on how good-looking the naked man is. I broke in to steal his TV. But Kirk ended up stealing my heart. Call the police and report a burglar. Hopefully they take the bait and arrest the crazy naked man saying he owns my house. Point and laugh.